Hey, Tar Pit crew, thanks for tuning into the Tar Pit Podcast, your go-to spot for all things Carolina football. Did you know you can also catch full episodes of the Tar Pit Podcast on Spotify? If you haven't already, make sure to check us out and follow us today on Spotify for all the latest UNC football coverage. Need fresh game day gear? Swing by the Shrunken Head Boutique or Tailgate by Shrunken Head on Franklin Street. Use code TARPITPOD for 15% off your entire order. Anytime in-store or online at shrunkenhead.com. All right, let's get into it.
What's going on, Tar Pit crew? Welcome back to another episode of the Tar Pit Podcast, your go-to spot for all things Carolina football. Look, it's good to be back with everybody tonight on this Sunday at looking right at 9:10 right now. Look, we just did our portal process one where we talked about the quarterbacks with Brendan Renner and also gave our opinions of the portal process and how UNC, Belichick and Lombardi approached the portal process. So if you missed that, you can go on over to YouTube and watch that today and catch that also on Spotify. It's good to see Big K in the house. Thanks for tapping in. Man, it's good to see JJ back in. JJ, I'm going to ask you the same question that I asked the guys the other night. First, welcome back. Let us catch up just for a little bit. How you been? What you been up to? I heard you made a move. Not sure if that's public, but if it's not, then don't say that. Even though I just mentioned it, don't have to say where you moved to. Because you're so famous, people might be flocking there to just like get your auto and stuff, But anyway, So the question is, after you let me know how you're doing and what you've been up to, did you get anything UNC related? I will say, this is a random note. I did see, like, if anybody's looking for some UNC gear, this is the time. Like, if you're looking for official UNC gear, this is the time to go on eBay. JJ is shaking his head like that just came out of left field. Did you know where this was going?
Nah, but
I was
yeah.
talking about the Shrunken Head. A lot of the kids that just transferred, you better hit eBay up and get some of that gear. I went on there and I saw a specific one that matched the number and where it was being shipped from and everything. Just out of curiosity, I was looking for some retro UNC gear and it popped up. I thought that was super random, but hey, if you want some official UNC football gear from somebody that transferred out, it's over there on eBay. But anyway, took a big route there, and I was talking to Troy and Trevor prior to the episode, trying to get us to keep it to an hour. JJ, how we doing, my guy? Did you get anything for Christmas with Carolina on it?
Nah, man, I'm doing good. First off, nothing for me for Christmas in terms of UNC gear.
Probably got enough, right?
Yeah, I've got enough gear. After 4 years, you have some UNC stuff. Sometimes you gotta give it away. But I mean, I moved back to Chapel Hill. I'm in school right now, finishing up my master's. I got one more semester to get my master's degree in the Master of Applied Professional Studies program. I'm also here training with a former UNC, also current UNC strength coach, Coach Hess. He's allowed me to. A lot of pro guys come back here. We all train at the facility and stuff like that. So still staying in shape. Under contract right now in the CFL, still playing for the Edmonton Elks. But other than that, man, nothing else. Just trying to keep in touch with you guys and trying to be as cool as y'all, man.
Whatever.
Hey, man. That's the JJ Jones, y'all.
The JJ Jones.
Mr. JJ Jones himself.
Hey, when's your season start with Edmonton? When does that kick off?
We start off in May. So the first week of May will be training camp, which is really good because it gets super cold in Canada. And I know we see snow outside right now. And I'm in Durham right now, and there's snow. And I can only imagine what it's like up in Edmonton. But, so it starts in May, ends around October, November. Because it's so cold, they can't have it during the fall and winter season. And because the Edmonton Oilers kind of run Edmonton. So
they'll give us some football we can watch in May, boys.
Absolutely.
Man, yes, what a trip. That should be a trip we should take.
I've always wanted to go to Canada. I
mean, just to go watch JJ ball out. I mean, if you ain't going to touch the field, I ain't spending that money. You're going to touch the field, right?
I'm going to touch the field. Come on, I'm going to touch the field.
I'm just messing with you. I mean, look, we almost already had a fight over if two of the guys had the same blanket prior to coming on. Not sure. But apparently Troy's grandma made it. So
I'm wrapped up here in the shed, fellas. I got this heater blowing straight on me. We got about 10 inches of snow down here in Brunswick County. And it's cold out here in the shed. So I got this blanket on me, got this heater plugged up. We locked in.
I think right outside of Chapel Hill, we got like 5 or 6. Trevor, did you get outside with the kids? Or I guess it's better say that they get outside with you.
Yeah, they gave me a run for my money, man, but it was good. We ended up, I think we got like 4 inches, so it wasn't as crazy as the beach, but it was fun. We went sledding today, and they're hyped because no school tomorrow, so
Never,
get to sleep in a little later in the morning.
I never thought I'd see the day where the beach got more snow than the Triangle. It's crazy. I mean, some places in Brunswick County got about 2 feet of snow. It was crazy.
Yeah, the wildest thing is, dude, y'all got that much, and then Charlotte got a ton too, and then right in the middle, we're like barely getting hit with any. It was crazy.
My wife was upset because she really wanted her sister to see snow so bad. I'm like, this girl getting upset because somebody else can't see snow like she is. Which kind of shows where her heart's at.
Hey, shout out to Caleb. He says he can't miss 2 straight. So he said, I'm here, fellas. Good to see you, Caleb. Then also Caleb said there's no shot y'all stay under an hour. So,
I was about to say, what's the over under on we stay under an hour. Who's putting up some money over or under, fellas?
Well, it'll definitely be money for over because we're already 10 minutes in.
I've lost enough money on betting. I'm gonna sit out.
JJ's gonna hit the private chat once we get the offensive line and say, "All right, fellas, I'm gonna head out now."
Yeah.
All right, boys.
Connor said definitely the over.
Yeah, good to see Connor Griffin as well, a friend of the Tar Pit podcast. It's always good to see people, man, tapping in. Look, if you missed the last episode, go and check that out. We also made some big announcements, news as well. Bryn Renner was on. He dropped that, he's going to be launching a new show called Air It Out with Bryn Renner. And JJ, I don't think I ever formally told you, but but I'm not sure if you caught the video that we posted on Twitter yesterday, but the Tar Pit podcast will be transitioning to over on Hills on Franklin. So either Monday or Tuesday, the YouTube channel and the Spotify will be changing, and the branding will be changing to Hills on Franklin. I just want to make it clear. We're also touched on this at the end, just to remind everybody. Someone left a comment today that kind of was like, it seems like you guys just kind of got absorbed, that type of thing. They probably that's okay, right? We welcome all this.
I was kind of like skeptical about that comment.
Was it real or not, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. It kind of looked like a bot account, but hey, if one person might have that thought, some others have that thought as well. So look, it's going to be the same vibes. Hills on Franklin was started by the guys that were here that originally founded the Tar Pit, or not originally founded, but the three that you've been seeing for the whole season, Troy, Trevor, and Chris. Hills on Franklin was started by us. So this is just a strategic move so that we can continue to progress and grow. And we also realize that, UNC has a lot of other great sports that we love and want to start covering. And not only that, it will set us up in the future to potentially have some good size, hopefully sponsors for this platform, so we can provide even better content for you guys and game day live show experiences, and also hopefully traveling to Ireland. I heard there's been some talk of doing a live show in downtown Dublin in a pub. That would be awesome. So, but don't hold us to that unless you want to donate to that. Anyway, look, let's jump in. First up, we got Caleb Jackson, a running back transferring over from Baton Rouge. He's actually from Baton Rouge. He's a 4-star recruit coming out of high school. He signed and committed. Then signed to play ball at LSU. 6 foot 235. I'm going to start this one out just for 30 seconds. Then I'm going to kick it to Troy, and then I'll let JJ and Trevor have the leftovers of whatever Troy doesn't tap into. But JJ's like, dang, the leftovers, man. Come on, guys. But look, Caleb Jackson. I'm just going to be straight. I was really surprised by this pickup. This was not a pickup that I expected. I'm not talking about the name or the player himself. I'm talking about the style of player that I see in Caleb Jackson when I watch his film. Also, just a quick note, I know a lot of people that don't know these new players, so that's Caleb with a K, not a C. So if you're researching or something like that, hopefully that will help you out. But Caleb Jackson, he reminds me a lot of Benjamin Hall. Definitely in the build, definitely in his build at 6 foot 235, and even when he runs the ball hard. If I would potentially go out on a limb and say that he's maybe a little bit better of a pass catcher out of the backfield and across the middle than Benjamin Hall, which is maybe potentially why they went out and got a player like Caleb Jackson. But again, I was a little surprised, not by the name, or coming from the program of, LSU, but the type of player here that Carolina picked up. I was surprised there. Troy, digging a little bit deeper, talk about a little bit of his stats at career at LSU, what you kind of thought, and then Trevor and JJ.
Yeah, man. Let me pull up his stats over here. Came in as a true freshman, 13 games, 31 carries, 165 yards, and 4 touchdowns. That was pretty much his most productive year. His career at LSU, 82 carries, 331 yards, and 4 touchdowns. And I looked at his tape, man, and the 2 words that I wrote down are bowling ball. Dude is he's a wrecking ball. I mean, that hit right there is just insane to me. That got me fired up. I'll be honest with you, Trev. When you sent that in the group chat, when this dude,
that's as a true freshman against an SEC school. That's crazy.
There's another example of his pass catching ability, Chris, that you were mentioning. But dude's got a great set of feet on him. He's not afraid of contact. I went back and watched a lot of his high school tape because outside of these highlights right here, there wasn't too much on him at LSU. But in his high school tape, he showed a great ability to bounce off tackles and run after contact. I mean, I can't tell you how many highlights I saw of him, bouncing off of 3 or 4 guys, multiple, not just one, and taking it to the crib. So he's an athlete. And like you said, Chris, one thing that I wrote down here on some of my notes with him is he's sneaky good out of the backfield and being able to pass catch. I think he could be a solid weapon there. But based on his tape, man, I think this is a guy that could contribute. He's got a very high ceiling, in my opinion, in that running back room. And you needed another guy that possesses what he brings to the table. He was a later portal addition, if I'm not mistaken. But he displays a good amount of traits that you're looking for in a running back in today's college game. He can catch out of the backfield. He can make guys miss. He can run after contact at both levels, at the line of scrimmage and at the second and third level. And he just knows how to work in space. So a very intriguing pickup, in my opinion, for that running back room. I went through and jotted down, watched some tape and jotted down of all the guys that we're going through tonight. And next to the ones that I thought could be key contributors, I put stars by them, and Caleb Jackson was one of those guys that I put a star on to at least just keep an eye on to see what he does at Carolina once we start getting into camp and go from there. But I think he has a lot of potential, a very high ceiling, and glad we were able to get him for that running back room. We needed him, especially with Davion transferring. My bad.
Yeah, that's a good point. Let's go ahead and get JJ in here.
Yeah, I think, like you said, bowling ball really describes this guy. After watching his tape, my dad played running back at West Virginia University, and one thing that he told me that he was great at was not falling on his ass and not falling backwards. When he got tackled, he always fell forward. He always was gaining yards, and that's what Caleb Jackson looks like. And in my notes as well, Troy and Trevor and Chris and all you guys look. I also put Benjamin Hall as a great player comparison for me for this guy. I think he has a lot of talent, a lot of upside. And I mean, in this running back room, we have a lot of guys who are downhill runners, but like 6 foot 235, like that's a powerful running back. And for the fact that he was at an SEC school, he brings in that SEC ability. He's played against these SEC caliber teams. And so he's been through the dogfight. He has the physicality for college football. And I think this is a really, really underrated pickup out of the guys that we're going to talk about tonight on this podcast. He was more of the underrated guy that I starred who is going to shine, but not a lot of people are going to know who he is or seen a lot of tape. But by this time next year, you're going to know who Caleb Jackson was.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I'm, looking forward to. I was chatting with the guys a little bit earlier. Sorry, JJ, that you weren't included in that. But my bad. One of the things that I was thinking about is that, it's going to be interesting as we go through the summer and then they get truly into camp, what names do start to emerge, right? And then that's the point where we'll start, digging in a little bit further and going through our position group breakdowns like we did last year. And so that's kind of what I'm looking forward to seeing, because you will start to see trends, right? Who's emerging, what, their bodies start to shape differently, definitely with this type of, you saw it this year, right? Like even though the results a lot of times didn't, translate to the field, a lot of their bodies just look completely different. Trevor, do you have any thoughts left on Caleb Jackson?
Yeah, I mean, I'll add to what you were talking about with the spring workouts. One thing about the NCAA, obviously we can give them all their complaints, but I do love that the portal only has one window now. So these guys, we know what we're going to have come springtime, right? We know what we've got as our roster, because I hated, last year we'd have these guys that left. We had them for spring, then they're leaving, then we're getting you guys, and you still don't know what your team's going to be in August. So I love that we'll be able to see that. But yeah, with Caleb, man, I did when I was looking up him, I was reading LSU fans' comments, and I went back, and Brian Kelly got questioned a lot for him not playing more. That was a lot of post-game press conferences. They would ask why he's not playing more, and there was a lot of LSU media guys that covered him that were like really excited with him, what he was doing in spring practice and things like that. So I think that when I was putting this together, it looks like he played 4 games and then decided he was going to hang it up so he wouldn't waste his red shirt last year. So I think he comes in. We've seen it a lot last year. He comes in with a chip on his shoulder. Baton Rouge kid. I'm sure he grew up probably an LSU fan, wanted to go there, didn't get his chance, buried behind some running backs. So I'm excited to see what he can do. And I think he's going to be mainly a third down, short yardage guy, but to be his size and to catch the ball out of the backfield, it's really intriguing.
Yeah, hey, can I interject real quick on that? Because JJ brought up a good point about Damon June. I with this addition and Caleb's ability to catch out of the backfield, I think it sets up for Damon June to be more of your workhorse downhill runner, kind of, between the tackles, kind of, because he's big, he's bulky, he's got that ability to bang and get it out the mud. But Caleb, I could see him coming in on like third third downs, maybe splitting him out into the slot, running him in some screen packages. You know what I mean? I think it's an interesting pickup with that ability because he's fast, man, and he can move in space. So that's all I got. I had to. JJ brought that point up. I had to kind of prophesize the running back room situation for next year.
That's
2 episodes in a row.
Prophesying. Troy, did you mention how many years of eligibility he had? I know that we were talking about that offline prior to tonight's episode.
Yeah, 2 years of eligibility left for him. So we get him to contribute and we can get him to stick around. Got a diamond.
Cool. All right, let's go ahead and I always say transfer over, right? Let's go ahead and switch over to the wide receiver room. JJ is going to bring his A game here and give us some insight as a former D1 athlete. Now we're going to go to Canada and watch him ball out, apparently. So I did some studying on how to pronounce this name all the way from Hawaii, originally from Hawaii. Sorry, the screen switched on me there. Trech Kakuna. Did I say it right? Did I get it right?
Kekahuna, right?
Yeah, I think it's Trek Kekahuna.
Trek Kekahuna. Okay, so I didn't. I mean, I even studied it.
You had it right. You had it right before we went live.
I watched a film. I watched film on how to get his name right through an interview. But anyway, look, this is a kid right from the get-go. He's coming over from Wisconsin. He's familiar with Billy Edwards Jr. already, even though Billy did not play, right? But a quarter or a quarter and a half, I guess you could say, in their first game. He did try to make his way back a little bit later in the year. I think it was against Maryland, but just wasn't healed enough to make it through that game. But he spent a whole offseason there in Wisconsin with him, and so I think it just says a lot, right? That he would want to also continue to follow Billy here. Potentially was a good teammate, right? And then that's what we've heard about Billy, right? He's a leader. He's a good teammate. He works hard. He studies the film. He's a locker room guy. So I like to see that. But also going a little bit deeper here, this receiver, in my opinion, this is your day one starter at the slot. I know that there's a lot of freshmen, and there's coming in that also has a lot of potential to play that position. I only say that because coming to year 2 under Bill Belichick, he's looking for stability. I feel like, so that's one of the reasons why I say that. And I mean, when given the opportunity and the ball in his hands, he did well. Trevor, I'm gonna go ahead and kick it to you. Give me some further thoughts.
Yeah, not to say this guy is like on that level. I hope he becomes it, but the way that he used him at Wisconsin, I'm interested to see how we used him. But he was kind of like a Debo Samuel role at Wisconsin. The way they used him, like even getting handoffs out of the backfield. But he's a kid that originally from Hawaii, like Chris said, but he played at Bishop Gorman in Vegas, so that's another powerhouse, football program, big time football program that we've seen a lot of these kids that we're getting. They're coming from big time, high school programs. And the biggest thing with him is 0 drops. So he's reliable. Hopefully he can continue that this year. And he, like you mentioned, Chris, he lined up 148 snaps last year in the slot, 23 out wide. He's more so of like a Swiss Army knife. We had bowling ball for the previous guy, Jackson. I'll say a Swiss Army knife with him because he's a guy that Wisconsin tried to get the ball every way they could. And if you go and just type in Billy Edwards, Wisconsin on Twitter, one of the first clips that show up is him throwing to Tretch. And it's where Wisconsin was basically promoting them before the start of the season. Like, how many touchdowns will this duo have? So they were excited about them and them two working together. And unfortunately, Billy got hurt. But I'm very intrigued by this. I think he complements what we already have in this wide receiver room very well. Go ahead,
JJ, what you got for us?
Yeah, I think the Debo Samuel comp is probably the greatest thing that I've heard this night, just because the stuff that he can do after the catch and the jet sweeps, all the screen passes, it's something that we didn't get to see last year with this team. And I know, Chris, you said earlier you wanted to see him start in the slot and maybe bring up a point. I know we're talking about portal players, but my only concern is I know we have Jordan in the slot, and he's a bigger guy who can play on the outside, but he's definitely like a Swiss Army knife. So it's gonna be really interesting when this training camp comes around where they decide to throw him in at, whether they throw ship outside or whatever happens. But in general, again, yards after catch, like right here, boom, getting upfield, making people miss is something that we haven't seen in a while. I think the last person we've seen really take screens to the house and jet sweeps at UNC was a guy like Daz Newsome, who it's been a while since we've had a really smaller guy who can take these jet sweeps to the house, all these shorter routes coming out of the slot. I think that's something that we've missed and something that we need. I think this is a really good get. And like you said, he's played at a very high level. But when he was at Bishop Gorman, he was probably one of the best pass catchers at Wisconsin. And again, the biggest stat to me is no drops. As a receiver, you're a wide receiver, not a wide dropper. So at the end of the day, as long as you can catch the ball and not drop it, you can be on the field at all times.
It's just like a shooting guard. A shooting guard is supposed to be able to do what?
Shoot the rock.
Shoot the ball. But anyway, that was I was having a conversation with a friend about that. I had to do with UNC basketball. But anyway, JJ, when I mentioned that's why I love having you on this show, right? You bring that credibility, right? And while I study the game and film and learn as much as I can, you played it at a very high level, right? And Troy also played a little bit of college ball too. And I saw your facial expression when I mentioned, day one slot. And so I was like, JJ's about to burn me. But so I didn't think about that. I didn't think about how they would use him in relation, to Jordan. So that's a good point. I like that a lot.
Absolutely. I just thought about it. I'm not burning you. Ball
no.
It just was like it's that's a whole conversation for another pod. We're talking about the portal guys right now, so we'll stick with it.
Hey, I got a comment here I wanted to bring up before it got buried. So Tar Heel Tiger for you, JJ. I want you to play for the BC Lions. Are they in the same division or?
Yeah, we're both on the West.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, that's sick though. Hey, you never know what kind of connections you're gonna make on the tar pit. That's what I like to see. Right,
Troy, go ahead and round it out to finish it here.
Yeah, Trek's another one, or Trek, however you want to pronounce it. Kekahuna, he's a guy that, like Caleb Jackson, man, I start him. I think he's a guy that can contribute immediately. I like his game. I question big play waiting to happen, but definitely a solid safety option. He's a reliable and speedy option in a passing game. I liked the Daz Newsome comp, JJ, and how we used him. I think Wisconsin used him similar to the way we used Nate McCullum, and that was a guy you played with. That one of those highlights that he took, I think, an end around to the crib I saw Nate do the same thing against Pittsburgh. I think it was your junior or senior year, and house one to the crib. But I tell you another comp, Trev, you brought up Debo Samuel. Go look up Roman Wilson for Michigan. He's a guy, won a national championship with him. J.J. McCarthy was their quarterback. But go watch his tape and how Michigan used him. Similar build. I think Trek's got a little bit more size on him than Roman does. But he's a guy that played for the Steelers. And Trek, man, he's a special talent. Be interesting to see where we use him. In the slot or out wide. JJ, you bring up a good point with that with with Jordan operating, both in the slot and we can bounce him out wide. We got another guy that we're bringing in the receiving room that I think is a really solid option on the outside. He plays a lot of outside receiver. So that's a good topic of discussion, one that we can do in our position breakdowns where we go a little bit more in depth on each position group before the season starts. But this is a great pickup, man. I love the Billy Edwards relationship there. If you go back and watch the Billy Edwards mic'd up from Wisconsin, you can definitely tell that those two had a connection from day one when Billy got to Wisconsin. So be interesting to see how we use him in our offense, but I definitely think he is going to be a key contributor this year. And it's good portal pickup.
I like it. Troy, for time, go ahead and kick off Mason Humphrey, a transfer from Lehigh, also played, there at Grayson out of Georgia, same high school, from our new quarterback coming in the 2026 class.
Yeah, Travis Burgess. Yeah, Mason's another guy that I starred. I know you guys probably laughing at me thinking I starred all the skill players, but that's two wide receivers that I've starred.
Troy's like, yes.
Just because his tape, man, and what he can do. Let me pull up my notes here for him. I put outside threat at receiver. Second leading receiver for Lehigh this past season. He's got 1 year of eligibility remaining, 26 starts over 2 seasons, 80 receptions, just over 1,200 yards and 9 touchdowns. I think this past season he had 35 catches, 650 yards, and 4 touchdowns. And he wasn't far off of that the year before with 45 catches, 587 yards, and 5 touchdowns. But look, this guy 6'4". I think he's got correct me if I'm wrong, JJ, you might know the answer to this, but at 6'4", I think he's got a solid height for an outside receiver. You look at, he's not the speediest of guys. Like, he's not going to burn you like we had with Tez on the outside, but he's got great ability to get off press coverage, get behind the defense, and finish plays. There was a couple plays in his Lehigh tape that I watched where he just made a guy, he hit him with a stutter step at the line, got the guy off balance, and was able to get behind him, stack him, and the quarterback just placed a great ball in the breadbasket. But I think this is another intriguing pickup. He comes from the FCS level, looking to make an immediate impact at the FBS level, and it's a big jump. But I think he's got all the tools in his game at receiver to be productive for Carolina. He turns those 50-50 balls into 80-20 or 70-30. So that's what I think he brings.
JJ, I'm going to kick it to you next. One of the things I kind of want y'all also to discuss, I've already said surprised twice of 2 of these players. The whole portal was a lot of surprise to me, to be completely, honest. I know we kind of discussed that a little bit last episode, but there were some things that kind of caught me where I had a little bit of red flags, a little bit of concern, in his game. And maybe that was because of his coaching, right? Potentially, but some of the things that I saw was him seemed to be lost in space sometimes when he was not the go-to receiver, when a blocker downfield, kind of letting up on plays a little bit. So definitely some things that Belichick will be quickly to pull you off the field for, which we already saw happen this past year. So I want to know, did anybody else see that when not just looking at, highlights, the balls that he was catching? And to me, Humphrey is kind of one of those things Humphrey for me, I feel like this is the staff throwing the dart at the board, hoping that because he has all the intangibles, he has a lot of the upside, hoping that he can get the development and this type of coaching at this level can take him to the next level. That's kind of how I see him coming to Carolina. I do appreciate him. He's been awesome so far since he's come to Carolina. Chatting with us a little bit through messages. I was actually a little surprised that we went this way because I really thought that we were going to go the Isaiah Dawson route. I believe
Richmond.
From Richmond. I know that
Yeah.
we were communicating with him a little bit, and he was working on setting up a visit. And then all of a sudden that kind of that disappeared, the talk and the discussion there. But JJ, kind of give us your thoughts also if you kind of saw anything that I was mentioning there, and then we'll go Trevor.
Now, like you just said, watching, because he was at the FCS level, for the most part, some of those bigger plays and some of those better players weren't always going to be on the field on those Saturdays. So he could be lackadaisical. He could take some plays off and still make plays throughout the game. And I think Belichick is going to make sure that he doesn't do that at this level. It's not going to happen, or else he's not going to play. And the biggest thing for him, honestly, is that he has 1 year left. So he has no other choice but to give it his all this next upcoming year. Of course, 6'4", 215 at the college level is extremely great size as a receiver. I know we haven't had anybody at 6'4" since maybe Bo Corrales at UNC. It's been a really long time since we had somebody that tall. But again, also being a receiver, 80%, maybe 90% of the game, you're not going to have the football. So it's what you do without the football that really matters. And that's the only area of concern I have with him. Other than that, I mean, being 6'4", 215, I think, Chris, you said it perfectly. Kind of just throw the dart at the board. His ceiling is what kind of is this pickup out the portal just because of his size. He has enough speed to play. I mean, look, he has great concentration on that catch right there, being able to get 2 feet down and straddle the sideline and go score. I mean, 6'4", 215, we have a lot of bigger guys coming in the freshman receiver room as well. So I think it's kind of an emphasis this year for the receivers that have a lot more height to them, which is going to be a different style of play than we've seen the past few years. But at the end of the day, I think, you can find skill players at any level of college football. And I think this is one of the pickups that we could find that, it's so hard to really understand it now. But when we get some spring tape, when they're getting into the offense and when they get to training camp and we see what these guys can do, he's a very intriguing guy that I'm ready to watch. And very, very excited.
Good stuff, Trevor.
Yeah, the size is a big. I'm glad you brought that up because I'm pretty sure you're right with Bo being the last guy we've had that size, and we see now with Cornell Warren and Chapman, these bigger receivers that Bill's going after, and with Bobby Petrino being the OC, he likes to take shots out wide. We're going to see more shot plays, more vertical plays. So one thing you can't teach is the kid's size. So to being able to have this big body and he can move a little for the size. So it'll be intriguing to watch. I didn't expect, he kind of came out of nowhere. It wasn't somebody we heard about, but he's been good to us so far, and I'm excited to see what he can turn into. The thing that really threw out to me is you said, Troy, at the beginning, the 80-20 balls. Kind of a guy that we can throw it up in the red zone, jump balls, and his size is going to be fun to watch out wide. A very different element than what we're used to seeing in the wide receiver room for sure.
Yeah, Isaiah Dawson. We were looking at him and then that other kid from Louisiana Monroe. I can't remember his name.
Remember, we had Bibbs and he left.
Yeah, Jonathan Bibbs. That was him,
Yep.
and he kind of fit a little bit of that. Isaiah Dawson was 5'8", so he was more. I mean, you definitely are going to see him more in the slot. But we got Tretch. Boom. There's your inside guy or wherever you want to play him. So Mason's an intriguing pickup, man. It'd be interesting to see what he does with us.
And I will say real quick, just super quick.
Nope,
honestly, I'm really excited that they also brought in another big guy just because there's no – outside of Jordan Shipp in the receiver room, there's no proven names.
You got to have
them. And exactly. And I remember my junior year when they brought in Tez and they brought in Nate, the guys that are in that room are going to feel some type of way. So it's going to enhance everybody's competitiveness. And I think that's what they need because they haven't had anybody who's going out there. We've talked about this before. There's no dogs that they've had outside of Jordan. So I like that they're bringing in another outside guy and an inside guy just so that everybody in that room knows that, okay, we're looking for the best guy out there. And I think that's what's going to only elevate this receiver room's potential this year.
Yeah, we'll get Lee Cott when we do start getting our position breakdown. Someone that I'm shouldn't say hopefully I'm going to be high on him, but I am high on him going into this coming up year. It's just hard, in this realm of college ball, right? This early on, the summer's not even here yet, and workouts haven't even started yet. Let's see here. Tar Heel Tiger 9 says 3 minutes behind. Chris concerns with Humphrey. I think he got by with natural talent, big and fast, 80-20 balls, but he didn't commit to blocking. You have to, totally agree with all that. All right. This is the room that I'm actually the most excited about, potentially out of the whole portal offense and defense. There's a ton of high ceiling here. If they can get the right position coaching down, if they get the right, if they just develop all the tools they need, this could be a very, very talented room. And you could definitely see, I don't have it in here, but when Petrino was hired, I think I sent some of you guys a picture of it. I went and bought his book that he had a ghostwriter probably, but it's all, his philosophy behind.
Yeah, he had somebody write it for him.
Yeah, philosophy behind the offense. And his offense is just layered with tight end usage, right? With the layering of routes. Also, vertical threat sometimes with tight ends. You can see it. I wrote it down. Wide receiver at 6'4", 6'6", 6'8", in that order that we're going tonight. And the first one up is Jordan Washington out of Texas. There's not a lot out there on him, but I mean, this is a kid that, he was expected at Texas to develop within that room and become the guy. For whatever reason, he ended up hitting the portal, but at 6'4", 264, a Houston native there out of Langham Creek High School. I think Trevor, we're supposed to go to you first. Yep, Trevor, take it away. I know that you were very excited about the Jordan Washington or the tight end room per se. I'm just overly excited about the type of talent. I mean, this is a complete overhaul of the tight end room. I mean, Jordan Owens, the other one that hit the portal that came from South Carolina,
Connor Cox.
Yep. Yeah, and then one of your former teammates as well, JJ hit the portal. So it's just intriguing to see what this room's going to do and develop into. But go ahead, Trevor.
Yeah, it's a revamped room, and I want to say Caleb Pickerel is leading the room now. I think he's going to be the guy that's coaching Pick. He's a friend of the
shout out Pick.
Yeah, he's a good dude. I like Pick, so I'm excited for his room though. But Jordan is he was a highly recruited kid, class of 2024, 4-star tight end. I'm wondering, Bobby spent some time out in Texas at A&M. I'm wondering in 2023 if Jordan was a guy that caught his eye when he was recruiting out at A&M and somebody that he tried to get and couldn't get. I didn't do any research on that, but I'm wondering so. But he was a multi-sport athlete. When we went through all the recruiting guys a few months back, almost every player was multi-sport. So Jordan was a really good basketball player in high school. So at the tight end position, usually those guys that are good basketball players make really good tight ends. So it'll be curious to see exactly which guy takes away the starting position, how many tight ends we use in Petrino's offense. But at Texas last year, he played 12 games. He had 2 starts, 7 catches, 109 yards, and a touchdown. He redshirted his freshman year, so he'll come in with 3 years of eligibility. But he was a guy that Texas didn't want to lose. And this was a kid, too, if you guys remember, when he entered the portal, it was with a do not contact tag. I don't remember the last time we got a recruit that entered with a do not contact tag. So he knew where he was going. So he was a Tar Heel through and through. So I'm excited to see what he does for us.
JJ, what you got, my guy?
Again, like you said, if I'm a Texas fan, I'm kind of upset that I lose this guy. There's a lot of potential in him. This is one of the players where you watch him and you don't really want to look at the stats because the stats really don't tell the story. You look at the offensive weapons Arch Manning had at Texas. I mean, It's going to be really hard to get the ball and spread it out to as many guys as possible. But again, long arms, and I think the biggest thing is the fact that he's a former basketball player. Those usually make the greatest tight ends. I played with a guy in Bryson Nesbitt who was a hell of a hooper. And he's doing great things right now in the NFL. Kind of has the same size, kind of the same build. I wouldn't say he's the same player as him, but again, the ceiling for this guy is probably the greatest out of the tight end group that we have in the portal, just because of what he can do. You can flex him out wide. I mean, he can be a little slot receiver, kind of a mismatch for some linebackers, but he can also block as well. But it is kind of tough. There's not a lot of film seeing him and seeing what he can do in terms of catching the ball and his yards after the catch. But like I said, when it comes to spring and it comes to fall camp, we'll see a lot of stuff out of these guys.
But look, you just made an interesting little segment there about this is your guy. Is kind of what you're saying, right? Out of this room that you're most intrigued by. JJ. Okay.
Yeah,
all right. So JJ is for Jordan Washington. Of course, we haven't gone through, the summer workouts and all that yet. So there's a lot left to be had on the table. I just want to poll everybody. Who's got Thurman? Who's a Thurman guy? Troy. It's Thurman. All right. We'll talk about Thurman next. I'm also a Thurman guy. So there we go. That's 2.
I'm gonna be a Warren guy then.
Warren.
It's almost 6'9", so
I know, bro. If he can stay
Dude,
healthy,
dude's
that
got
kid's massive.
Darnell Washington build. I'm
my
serious.
goodness.
I'm serious. That dude, Darnell, I mean, the measurables, both of them are 6'8", 280. Massive freaking human beings. But
we'll get to him. I watched anyway, I'll save that for when we get to him last. But go ahead, Troy, on Jordan here.
Well, I'll kind of lead off with the overall, tight end. I mean, this is a totally revamped room from what we have. I mean, guys, JJ, you played with that tight end room where we were 3 deep with Kamari, John, and Bryson. And I feel like I'm missing one in there too, but maybe not. But I mean, we were 3 deep at that position. That was one of the most productive tight end rooms in the country. And
Garrett Walston.
Yeah, there you go.
You remember that catch? I would love. This is the type of episodes.
I'm breaking everybody off.
Well, I know we've had episodes. Well, we've had people message us. Have y'all ever?
JJ got the over.
Just doing episodes where you just, sit and chill and talk ball, right? And those are some of the things we hope to get to in person where we're just hanging out, right? Yeah. But just talking about Bryson Nesmith, just always, anytime that name's mentioned, I remember that catch against Duke. Yep. Where he landed on his back, man, sick. But go ahead, Troy.
Well, it's funny that you bring up Bryson, because the two guys that I was going back and forth whether Jordan or Jelani reminded me more of Bryson, but both of them on tape have kind of the same traits that Bryson brought to that Carolina offense. That dude was a dog. One of my favorite tight ends that have came through that tight end room in a long time. But the interesting thing about all 3 of these pickups is we know that Belichick loves to run the football. I mean, we seen that last year. I mean, how many times where it seemed like throughout the course of the year we were pulling our hair out because we ran the ball so daggone much. It was predictable. But one of the things with all 3 of these additions and Jordan too, is that all of these guys can block, and they almost take pride in blocking. I went back and looked at Jordan's there's not a lot of tape on him at Texas other than a few reels, but I went back and watched a lot of his high school tape, highlight tape, his huddle film, to see kind of what Texas saw and why, they went after him so hard. I mean, he was a highly sought after recruit in the state of Texas and in the class that he committed out of. But JJ, you brought a good point too. He was overshadowed by loaded offensive weapons and experienced talent at Texas. But looking at his high school tape, man, he's a kid that when given opportunity, he's got the ability to stretch the field. He's got a long, lanky frame. His arms and legs are just long. I mean, it's the only way I can really put it. He's just a long dude, and he's got a heck of a stride on him. I watched countless amount of tape of him just stretching the middle of the field, the quarterback just lofting it up to him. I know that's high school football, but he possesses that ability to stretch the field and, haul in catches that are a little bit overthrown, come back and catch the ball and work in space. But the one thing that I like about him that I saw a lot on his high school tape is his ability to block. And in this offense, from what we've seen from last year, you've got to have tight ends. Somebody put up here, I see a lot of us running a lot of 12 personnel. Like we saw in New England years ago. I think with the additions of these 3 tight ends that we've got and their ability to block as well as they do, I think that's a lot of the reason why the coaching staff went after all three of these guys.
Troy, while I got you on the screen, we got you a friend in here started to make sure you saw it. Shout out to my boy. Oh, no, sorry. This is Trevor. He's T-Will. That's right.
That was the Texas fan I was telling you guys about. I
okay.
talked to yesterday. So he knows Washington pretty well.
Tar Heel Tiger asked, some Texas fans were saying Washington wasn't fast. That true? I mean, his tape, his high school tape, I didn't really. I mean, he doesn't have blazing speed. He's just got a long stride. I mean, he can. There's JJ, you know it too, just like I do.
Well, it's hard to really gauge a guy's speed when he's a long strider.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, so it is tough.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't necessarily know 100% whether he's got burners, if he's got wheels, if he can pick them up and put them down, but I do know he's got the ability to stretch the field when given the opportunity.
Go ahead, Troy. I'm gonna go ahead and let you just go ahead and kick off Thurman since for time purposes.
Yeah, my bad. Let me pull up his stats here.
I got you while you were doing that. Ohio State transfer Thurman. Like I said, this is Troy and I's guy, the tight end room. I really like it here. 6'6", 250. I mean, this is a prototype frame, but you can have the frame all you want, but do you have the skill to encompass that frame? I guess you could say. Is a 4-star recruit, number 3 tight end in the nation, number 70 overall coming out of high school. And you put up some good tape out of Ohio State as well. I know some of the blogs that I was on and talking to people that Ohio State hated to lose him. Go ahead, Troy.
Yeah, I mean, he played in all 16 games in 2024 when Ohio State went on that dominant run to win the CFP. He's a Ohio State Scholar Athlete in 2023. He's a Ohio State Scholar Athlete in 2024 in an academic All Big Ten conference. When you look at his tape, man, he's another guy that likes to, especially in high school, it's another blocking tight end, but he possesses the ability to be utilized. I mean, look at his tape, and one thing about him, if you throw the ball to him, he's going to catch it. He was used mostly as a possession receiver at times at Ohio State, but an intriguing pickup nonetheless. I'm a Jelani Thurman guy because I think out of all these tight ends, he's more of that. I brought up the Bryson Nesbitt and going back and forth on which one reminded me more of him, Jelani or Jordan, and I was leaning more towards Jelani, and I think that's the most intriguing thing about him to me is that he can block and he can stretch the field. He's got a great set of hands, and I think his, the production that he had at Ohio State, I'm interested to see what he does at Carolina if given, more of an opportunity. He's another guy like Jordan. Jordan was overshadowed by a plethora of offensive weapons at Texas. We know about Ohio State's wide receiver room. I mean, that's about as good as you're going to get. So I'm anxious to see what he does in Carolina Blue, man. I think he's got a lot of potential.
JJ, when you watch his film, what do you see?
I see a reliable pass catcher. He has the hands that you need out of a tight end. He has the willingness to block. There's no breakaway speed. He's not going to be the kind of guy who's a tight end who's going to run a crazy 2 fade. He's an immediate red zone threat. When you get down to the nitty gritty, if you need a first down, if you need a score in the red zone, he's the kind of guy you get on some crossing routes, on some fake blocks and getting off and running a fade, stuff like that. But I think the biggest thing is his size. I mean, we haven't seen anybody with this prototypical NFL. He has the NFL build. He is NFL ready in terms of size, in my opinion. And again, a reliable pass catcher that we really haven't had at UNC last year, but adds to the depth of the tight end room. And I mean, he was at Ohio State. It's hard to play there, and he played in almost every single game. So he has the intangibles to play college football at the highest level, and it's an amazing pickup for UNC, and I'm excited to watch him play.
Good stuff. Trevor?
Hey, can I chime in real quick, and then I'll kick it to Trev? I was going through when he committed on Twitter and was reading a lot of Ohio State fans' posts on Twitter, and this was a guy that they were excited about coming into this season. Now, obviously, Ohio State didn't necessarily have the year that most fans would have wanted, but this was a guy that, just like Texas fans they hated to lose Jordan, Ohio State fans hated to lose Jelani for for good reasons. Go ahead, Trev. My bad.
No, you're good. Yeah, I mean, I love what you added there at the end, JJ, with him being from Ohio State and contributing. We saw him going across the middle, catching a big pass against Penn State. Like, this kid's played in big games. He's played big time football. And both of these guys, with Washington from Texas, another powerhouse of football, we're bringing a kid from Ohio State. So that's what I love. And we saw that a lot with the other guys that we brought in, where last year it was more so mainly like FCS schools and smaller schools. Now we're starting to pick up kids from big time programs. So one thing I'll mention that you guys didn't bring up is I thought this was pretty cool. His dad was a athlete, second round pick in the NFL draft. His mom played in the WNBA, and both of them played at Georgia. So he's got it in his blood. He comes from an athletic family, and I'm thinking that if I had to pick a starter, if being straight up, I think I saw somebody say that it's early and we're going to go a deep dive in this room later, but I would say this kid's got obviously the most experience out of any of them. And he should be our starter at the tight end position if all goes well.
Good stuff. Before we transition over to Warren from Colorado State, I wanted to bring up just from Jordan Washington out of Texas. Shout out to a Texas fan here. How do you say, is that Flo 361? His speed wasn't the issue. His hands were this past year. Very talented kid. We didn't want to lose him. He also commented again, answering UNC Tigers question. He said, I do think he can develop into an NFL player. He just needs some time. He had flashes last year. So good stuff. We appreciate you being here. Let's go ahead and transfer over. I always say transfer now, right?
That's what we do at the Tar Pit. We go out and find real Texas fans to bring them in and get them in the chat to talk about players too. You can't find that anywhere else, boys.
There you go. Appreciate y'all being here. Trevor, I'm going to go ahead and kick it to you. This is your guy, Jackson Warren. I think this is a very intriguing pickup in the tight end room. 6'8", 245. I would like to see a little bit more weight put on him potentially, but I'm really looking forward to seeing how they use him. If he's got the hands, just throw the ball up. But he's got some potential. I think definitely played QB at North Texas, had some. He's battled with injuries, right? That's one of the reasons why he transitioned to tight end. I think he had 2 shoulder surgeries. It was, and he also had some knee issues in the past. But go ahead, Trevor. What you got?
Yeah, the kid's been through it, man. But he's massive. This is probably you were talking about 6'4" tight and the kid we had, Mason Humphrey, and the biggest wide receiver. This has got to be the biggest tight end we've had in a long time at 6'8" coming in the tight end room. I don't know so. You can't find much film on this kid. I really thought it was intriguing that he started out as a quarterback. So he can move obviously a little bit. And you go back and you watch, there's like one clip, or it's a couple clips, but one game from when he lit it up against Washington. And Washington's that's a good defense. We've had some pretty good players come from Washington and play for us. So he went off in that game before he got hurt. And I went on it because I couldn't find anything on this guy. I went and played college football with Colorado State and used him. And this joker is, if y'all go play with Colorado State and use this kid, boys, they can't tackle him. So I hope he can stay healthy for us, because he can be a true weapon in the red zone. And I would love to see what Bill can do with somebody at this size.
Very nice. Could always count on Troy to give us a fantasy football thoughts in there, and then always can count on our guy Trevor giving some NCAA. I'm cooking in my dynasty right now, boys. Georgia State. I went and picked
You're on Heisman too now, aren't you?
The one below Heisman. What's that?
All-American.
All-American. Yeah.
Okay. You getting there though? He was on freshman JJ when we first connected.
I was gonna say, come on, man. Come on.
We got him
You
up
played
there.
on Heisman. I play on Heisman. You got to play on the hard. But also, it's not fun when you losing on the game, so I don't blame you.
Well, I've heard
hard to
Heisman
win
is
on
just
Heisman.
like not even doable. That's
Yeah,
why I
it's-
haven't done it.
You'll get it. It's frustrating at first, but you get
Heis-
used to it.
Heisman on Road to Glory is nearly impossible. Like it is not fun at all.
See, I like just going out and finding those teams that's got like a half a star or like 1 star, like Georgia State's like 66. I'm 10-1, boys. 10-1. So
Hey.
load it up. All right. So Jackson Warren. Who else? Anybody got any other thoughts on Jackson Warren? I know we just did Trevor there. JJ, Troy.
Yeah. So one of the interesting things that I saw about Jackson Warren is he had a pretty solid game against Washington in the season opener this year. He was on the field for 28 passing snaps against Washington. 21 of those snaps he lined up in the slot, and he lined up out wide 8 times. I'm not a math guy, but from what I saw and from what the research I did, that equates to about 75% of when Colorado State was passing the football, he was lining up essentially as a wide receiver. And at 6'8", 280, his frame it can be utilized well in those situations. He's another guy, and you saw it against Washington. He was able to stretch the field. He's got a good set of hands on him. He's a guy, honestly, when you look at Jackson Warren and his build, he's got the brace on his arm. He reminded me of Rob Gronkowski watching him, just for that reason alone, and just how big he is. I remember growing up and watching the Patriots dominate, and Rob Gronkowski just being. I was just thinking to myself, that dude's just
bigger than everybody.
He just looks so much bigger than everybody on the field, and part of the reason why he's able to do what he does is because he is a massive human being. And I think that's what we can see in Jackson Warren this year. So that's my thoughts on him, man. He's got a lot of potential if he can stay healthy. He committed to Colorado State, I think, from the JUCO level or the FCS, one of the two. Colorado State had high hopes for him, but he just wasn't able to stay healthy. I'm thinking if he can get to Carolina, stay healthy, and can produce, I mean, he's an added weapon, especially at 6'8".
I'm gonna have to see if I can get him to transfer to me in the portal for Georgia State.
Snag him from Trev.
maybe he wants to, come back to a lower level and really ball out.
Yeah.
I got the Vandy job, so I ain't coaching him anymore. He might want to leave. I done leveled up and went to Vandy.
Yeah, Trev said I ain't let him have stars no more.
No, we leveling up. Hey, the thing with Warren, which is crazy, when I was putting these notes together, he's the same height as this next guy we're going to talk about.
JJ, did you have any thoughts on Warren?
I mean, y'all pretty much hit everything on the head, just in terms of his size. I mean, I know he played receiver at Navarro Junior College, which means he was able to run routes. He was able to catch the ball. He was able to do everything at receiver. It's very interesting that he also came in and was a quarterback at North Texas for a while. So that means when you're a quarterback, you have to understand how defenses are playing. So I think that's going to give him a little bit more advantage when he plays tight ends, whether he's max protecting and he's blocked. If he's staying in on the line, he's blocking, or if he's running a route, he's going to know how the defense is shifting, how the defense is going to disguise coverages. So I think that's going to help him out a lot. And I mean, there's nothing else really other than, he's 6'8", man. I mean, just throw the ball up to him. I mean, it's hard. It's really hard to defend a guy who's 6'8", and he's probably taller than most of your offensive linemen, which is crazy. And I know we're going to talk about that next. So
I actually see in our oh, never mind. I have Shaq McRoy notes pulled up, and I saw 6'8", 344. I was like, is this a typo? Looking at Warren, but Shaq McRoy is the next one up on our list. So all good points there, guys. So let's go ahead and talk about Shaq McRoy, the offensive line room. I think this is one of the rooms that there was a lot of holes on this roster. I mean, just being completely honest, right? That a lot of kids, not only a lot transferred again, but we lost a lot due to graduation as well. And so offensive line, I mean, it's hard to pick which room needs the most, right? Revamp, but offensive line coming into this year has to be better than what it was last year. And I think it's gonna be very interesting after summer workouts and after game 1, 2, or 3 of next year to really see if they were able to do this in the portal. Because after, just seeing what I've seen, I'm not really seeing how we did that, how we got better in the O-line room. Because, it's very rare that you can – it's almost unheard of, right? That you see an impact true freshman come in at the P4 level, in the ACC as well, that can start right from the get-go and do well. right? Because it's hard. It's one of those positions that takes for sure a year or two to develop to be able to protect. And so Shaq Barroy, offensive tackle, Arkansas transfer, coming in at 6'8", 344, follows Petrino over from Arkansas. I think out of all the pickups, right, I think this is the one that is the most ready to start out of our transfer portal haul along the offensive line. I think this is a guy that they're hoping as well can continue to refine a lot of his tools and his blocking as they get into next year. I think he's almost there just with some of the film that I've looked at. And I'll be honest, I'm not the best, right, to gauge offensive line at the college level. I'm just not. But just from my understanding, I feel like he's the one that they're banking on the most to be able to develop into that next phase as they get ready for next year. TCU all the way in Ireland. Trevor, what you got?
Yeah, I didn't star anybody, but if I was going to star somebody that I expect to be the day one starter, we're going to need and have to be huge for us, it's going to be Shaq. I expect him to be either a right or left tackle for us. And he was a highly recruited kid. Like he was very sought after, big time, top 100 player, 4-star. Originally went to Oregon, redshirted at Oregon, and then transferred to Arkansas. But he was an Under Armour All-American, and he dominated in the All-American game. I went back and watched clips from there. So he's played against good competition and did well. And I thought it was cool. So he's following Bobby from Arkansas. And last year at Arkansas, Bobby got him in and got a rushing touchdown against Notre Dame. So he's at his size, 6'8", 344. He's athletic enough for them to bring him in and hand him the football and let him get in on a little goal line carry. So I thought that was pretty cool, and I'd love to see him do that for us this year. Get him down there and just get him the ball. So he's a big addition, though. We're going to need him. Offensive line is going to be the key. Other than the quarterback, a lot's going to ride on this offensive line and our success this year. So this was a one that I did not want us to lose or let off campus. So big get here for us.
JJ, what you got?
Yeah, so like I said, I was working out at the facility and I saw him walk around the corner. And let me tell you, I was like, the first thing I said, who the hell is that? He's towering over everybody. And they're like, oh yeah, they call him Shaq. And I was like, I wonder why. Like he's legit one of the biggest humans I've seen, like especially in that building. And I mean, he lives up to his name, Shaq. He's a big dude. And going back, like you said, it's not a lot of film to be able to watch. I'm glad he got a rushing touchdown. We could throw him in the goal line package, which would be extremely well at UNC. But, he has great feet. Shout out to my boy Diego. He's getting me to start watching some more offensive linemen nowadays. So I can get a little more scouting report on offensive linemen. He has really good feet from what I've seen. But again, also SEC competition. And I know I said earlier, you can find talent anywhere, but that really only goes to skill players. The difference between FCS and FBS linemen is a completely different ball game. And he is at the top. I know I played at UNC, but in my personal opinion, in terms of offensive line and defensive line, the SEC is where you make your money at. And he played at that level. And he's big enough to be at that level. He was big enough to be at that level. So this is a great get that UNC is going to have. And like we just said, day one starter, in my opinion.
You talking about making that money along the offensive line. That reminded me of that clip of Will Campbell when he was talking about, somebody asked him something. He was like, well, no offense, and FedEx drivers, that's fine. But, if I let one sack a game, I'm FedEx and I'm delivering packages, right? I can't remember what he compared it to, but
he's like if a top D lineman gets a sack a game, he's going first round. But if I give up a sack a game, I'm delivering packages for FedEx, or something like that.
Good stuff. Yeah, Trevor, what you got? Thank you, Troy, for that's right. I already kicked it to you. Troy, what you got, buddy?
Yeah, so that was a cool story about you working out at the facility and seeing him come around the corner, JJ, because my initial thoughts that I wrote down for him is that if there's, like, I know it's kind of cliche to say, but if there's a guy that I want to lead my team off the bus, Shaq McRoy is top 2, and more than likely he's not number 2 because that dude is a unit. And I went back and watched some of his tape. JJ, I found myself laughing watching offensive lineman tape too, to be honest with you. But he reminds me. Interesting that you brought up Diego, because at the tackle spot, you saw him at guard and at tackle sometimes. I think he's better at either tackle spot. He reminds me a lot of Diego at that position. I think he's got a high ceiling. I think that's where we're going to use him at. To be honest with you. But just an overbearing presence on the offensive line shows, a great ability to move people out of the way and run blocking. And he holds his block well during the, pass blocking, coming off and holding the edge off from the pass rush. I mean, there were a numerous amount of tapes that I watched of him just laying a edge rusher flat on his face. Just off technique alone. So I think the ceiling with this guy's huge. He wanted to follow Bobby. That was the main reason why he committed to Carolina. So going to be it's a very intriguing pickup, and I think he's a guy that can contribute immediately as well. If I starred him, I didn't just star position player, skill players. I starred him too, because when I star him, I do take into account, like, okay, who's going to contribute, and based on tape, the guys that I starred, I think they can be key contributors if given the opportunity.
Good stuff, Troy. I appreciate that. Sorry, that was a weird comment as we transition. I got caught over here and looking at a YouTube comment. But yeah, good stuff. I'm excited about him. I think he's got a lot of a high ceiling there to become a starter. We're gonna need him for sure. This is another one that I'm really excited about. JJ, you were mentioning, when you're talking about, the offense and defensive line, making their money in that type of conference in the SEC like that. While I agree, Andrew Threat coming from Charleston Southern, transferring, here to Carolina, everything that I've read on him and also his position coach, they speak very, very highly of this guy. Who wants this one first?
I'll
get it. Or you get it. Go ahead.
I'll kick him off, man. The thing that sticks out to me is that he brings to Carolina a ton of experience, a lot of playing time. Looking at our notes that we've got here on him, let me pull it up. 6'3", 315, 1 year of eligibility remaining, but was a first team all Big South, 32 consecutive starts over 3 seasons. True freshman, he started at right tackle. He moved inside to left guard, then bounced in his sophomore year, and then bounced over to right tackle in 2025. But he's got the flexibility to play, either position. I see him more playing at guard than I do at tackle, to be honest with you. But I like the fact that, while it was at a lesser level, when you're scouting offensive linemen, and Bill said this himself, you look at how far along they are in more the developmental traits. And offensive linemen and defensive linemen are the two positions that take the longest to see development. JJ, you know that. I know that's not lingo. That's not new lingo to anybody in here. But Andrew's a guy that brings a ton of experience at either position. Like I said, I think you bounce him in at guard at either one. And he's obviously a guy that you can fine tune his game, but you're not overhauling him. He's not a guy that you're going to bring in. I don't think that you're going to he's not a project, I guess you could say. He's a tweak kind of, get him familiar with the scheme, what we want him to do, tweak a few of his techniques and let him eat. That's all I got. Sorry.
What do they say? The best ability is availability. So with you talk about offensive line, it's huge. It's what we're going to need. He's you mentioned it, 33 or 32 consecutive starts and being able to play multiple positions. Bill loves these guys. A guy that he can bounce out at tackle, he can bounce out at guard. We heard it a lot last year with having a blank here. Who was the kid that we were going to have at center that got hurt? They were moving him around a lot. Not Christo, Georgia kid. You played with him, JJ.
Blasky.
Blasky. They were moving him around, trying to figure out where, so this is another guy that we can move around. He's got a lot of experience and he's going to be a veteran. So him and Shaq were two huge additions on the offensive line for us. And Andrew was one we got early on, and he was getting SEC interest. There was SEC schools that wanted him. So this kid can play. I'm excited. He's one that he's communicated with us already. We're hoping to get him on for an episode. So seems like a good kid. So I think he will, as long as knock on wood, man, if he can, I hope he can just keep that streak of consecutive games and be healthy for us, because he'll be a big time need and a big spot filler for us this year.
I don't think I've ever seen somebody get so excited for Carolina to get an offensive lineman than Trevor was when Andrew Threat committed to us. I think you were on Twitter. You were on Twitter communicating with him pretty heavily, weren't you? Going back and forth a little bit.
I couldn't unmute myself, but yeah, I threw out a Tar Pit interview for him to commit, and it worked, man. It worked. It's just funny. Yeah, yeah.
Look, I got serious. You had me fooled.
No, he's a good kid, man. Very respectful. Very good kid.
Yeah, I mean, even for his commit graphic too, we're like, hey, you got a photo that you would like for us to use for it, or I think when that first
he
initial
accepted a collab on Instagram immediately.
In that first initial conversation, it took him a while to get back, so I went ahead and did one right and found one, and then he was like, "This is my favorite pic of me." All right, and so I was like, "All right, I'll redo it." So it was good stuff. JJ, you got anything, buddy?
Nah, again, I think everybody hit the nail on the head. Just the biggest thing is availability, and he's played in a lot of games, and we hope that streak continues. I mean, he was all Big South, and like we said earlier, not just one of the best players in the conference, one of the best players in the nations at the FCS level. And like you said, he had SEC offers coming out in the portal, and it kind of resides in what I said earlier. All the SEC schools are going to want the best big guys to play. So I think this is a good steal, not a great pickup, but a great steal from the SEC teams that saw the I guess potential in Andrew Threat, and UNC got him, and he should be a plug and play kind of guy.
You see these comments for you, Trevor?
Yeah, we're trying over here, fellas. Doing everything we can over here. I appreciate y'all. TCU Dynasty just had the #1 recruiting class in the country too, boys. Just to let y'all know. It's on Heisman difficulty too. We recruiting, boys. We recruiting.
Hey, I'll tune into one of Trev's streams. Bro be cooking.
Yeah.
They would just be motioning people left and right, like all over the place. I'm like, damn, Trev, I can't keep up. Chill out.
I sent JJ a request. He ain't
burning the analog stick.
JJ ducking
He'll
him.
Cook me. He'll cook me though.
JJ, are you ducking Trevor?
Yeah, I'm ducking smoke, man. That's on me. I'm ducking smoke.
Look, JJ.
I don't even know how to read coverage. Just JJ would kill me.
JJ, do you play?
Oh yeah, I'm probably gonna hop on right after this.
Oh
yeah.
Who you run with?
I used to run with Texas A&M, running quarterback, and then get the ball to KC.
I gotta have a running quarterback too. I like that.
Man, Georgia State's where it's at, boys.
Hey, I'll burn you with Gio.
Weird tuition is handled.
Man, you ain't gonna burn nothing, bro. I cooked you.
Did we play?
Yeah, we played.
I don't even remember. It shows you how long I play video games.
I'm just messing with you. I did win though. But anyway. All right.
I don't play, bro. I'll be the first to admit. Like, other than 2K, like, I'll talk football, but I suck at playing it. Like, to be honest with you.
All I can say is if you want to play, you better get to playing until that baby boy comes. JJ, do you know that he's gonna be a dad?
Big time. Come on.
Sir.
I was gonna say welcome to the club, but I'm not in the club.
Appreciate you, big dog. Trevor and I can say it. Welcome to the club. I'll say is if you're gonna play some Xbox or PS, whatever one you play it now. And if you like going out to eat, you go out to eat now. Because when they're little like that, that's rough.
That's the biggest going out places, man. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, it's not until like two or three, right?
Yeah.
And but anyway, all right. Rowan, offensive lineman, coming on over from Clemson. This is an interesting pickup as well. Our guy Crew Davis played ball with him up at Iona Prep in so like New Jersey. Is it actually in New Jersey or is it in
it's
New
right
Jersey?
right on the line. I'm not sure
right?
which one though. Yeah.
How did you pronounce his name?
Rowan.
Rowan, how'd you pronounce his last name?
I didn't say it because I didn't know how to pronounce it.
I believe it's. I looked it up on Clemson's. I think it's Rowan Byrne.
Rowan Byrne. Yeah. His dad, not his dad, sorry, Crew's dad. We have a pretty good relationship.
Yes,
with
sir. I'm telling you.
Sorry, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. So Crew's dad and their family has a good relationship with the Tar Pit podcast. And right when he committed, he tweeted, he sent me a DM on Twitter and was like, hey, just watch the tape. When those two play together, great things happen. So because Crew Davis was the running back and he was the offensive lineman, but 6'5", 295. I think this is another intriguing pickup. A former 3-star offensive tackle, ranked 61st in the offensive tackle category there nationally in the 24 class, according to 247 Sports. JJ ain't got a lot of burn lately, so JJ, I'm gonna kick it to you.
Yeah, again, like you said, very interesting pickup. Just in terms, there's not a lot of film, very limited reps in his year at Clemson. I think this is more of a ceiling pick. This is the kind of guy that you bring in now. You let him get used to the offense, get used to Bobby Petrino's new offense and his style, and learn the game, the North Carolina football way and the Bobby Petrino play style. He's going to have a few more. He's got 4 years of eligibility, so he's probably not going to be a guy we see a lot this season. But in terms of, I guess, future commitment, this is the kind of guy that you want to have. He has a great upside. He's got great size, got great length. But he's young, and I think the biggest thing is just there's not a lot of reps that we see. But at the end of the day, this is a player that who went to Clemson. He was a highly recruited player. I mean, Clemson has always been really good in terms of high school recruiting, so they usually don't miss a lot of guys like this. It's a program that you can compare to the SEC level. But again, limited reps, but it's still a great pickup to have in terms of the future football.
All I say, when it comes to Clemson, Dabo, in the transfer portal, I'm just really glad that hopefully that Belichick kept everything top notch so we didn't get called out like Dabo.
Dabo going after your boy at Ole Miss, JJ.
You know what? I'm glad Dabo's finally dabbling into the portal. He's always been a very down-to-earth guy who wants high school kids. And, if I was a coach, unfortunately, I'd pick out the transfer portal first. It's just a new type of way the game's played. But, I'd like seeing Dabo fired up a little bit too, throwing shots. I'm glad the whole college football landscape got to see that.
It is, JJ. It is kind of funny, though, because, Dabo was the one that's been very, no, I'm sticking to how I've done things for a decade or whatever it's been, right? And then he starts dabbing into the portal, and then this happens to him. He's like, "See, guys, I told you. I'm calling it out now too. Y'all wanted me to get into the portal business. I got in. This is happening. I'm gonna." And man, I just thought it was, when he got on that mic and he started, he's basically telling all the coaches that reached out to him to shut their mouths and report it. And I was like, while he's right, that just seemed a little because I'm sure those were friends that called him, right? And I was just like, dang, man, Dabo's spitting fire. But
he had all the receipts too of the times and all that, man. He meant it, but it's college football, and it's been times where things haven't been the greatest. So, but I'm glad he called them out. It's funny, like you said, he never got into the portal, and when he did, that shit happens to him, which is funny.
Yeah, I wish they'd throw them on the schedule. Wouldn't it be so cool if we could adjust the schedule and they just put Ole Miss and Clemson week 1 against each other? That would be fun to watch.
But yeah, we've had so many opportunities to do side conversations. I'd love to be able to do those. When we, with you being back in Chapel Hill now, Trevor's 45 minutes out. I'm 20 minutes out. We got our guy, Troy, that's 12 hours away. No, I'm just kidding. He's 2.5, but we're working towards getting some of those in person done. I'd like to kind of do just a sit down with JJ and josh it up about your thoughts of the whole portal and NIL, because you were kind of you did get to dabble into it a little bit, right? I know we haven't talked about it, but you were kind of at the tail end of it now compared to what it is now, and I'd like to kind of get your thoughts, man, stories that you've heard and stuff like that. I think it'd be very, very interesting. But
that'd be a 2-hour pod if we did that. So we'll go ahead.
Yeah.
Hey, never mind. I'll save that for off air.
I think you're about to say whoever chose the over won. But anyway, anybody got any final thoughts on Rowan?
Nothing major, just what JJ said. When Clemson's usually nailed it on the offensive line with their recruiting, and they've got a good O-line coach. So Clemson wanted him. He's got the size. So I
Yeah.
think this is a good kid that could probably develop and hopefully develop into something for us.
Is it Freddie Kitchens at Clemson now too?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're paying him. He's not getting paid by Clemson. We're still paying. So yeah, part of the buyout, I guess.
He was there last year too, right?
Who?
No, just kidding. He was with Carolina.
No, he was.
Never mind.
He might as well have
that
been.
was a brain.
I digress, Chris.
I had a brain skip there for a minute. I think it was like right after the season ended or something like that. After he got let go, it was like quickly announced that, you know, he was going to be in that volunteer position or whatever it was. I think
him
that's
and your
why I
boy
was like,
Lonnie, your guy Lonnie, are good friends. I think so. He went down there with Lonnie. I love Coach Lonnie though. I ain't gonna talk
My
about
God, man, love Galloway, man.
all right. So is it Brandon Homedy or Homedy?
Homday, I think.
Homday. All right. West Virginia transfer, 6'3", 295. Saw a little bit of burn last year as a true freshman, mostly on special teams. I think he played a total of maybe 8 offensive snaps. I don't really have much personally on this one. So whoever wants to dive into it.
I'll kick it off with him because I watched some tape on him from high school. And West Virginia this past season was extremely experienced across the offensive line. So his chances for snaps there already, he was against the grain. But the one thing I will say in watching some of his high school tape is he knows how to take them to the bus, fellas. The dude can move people out of the way. He's extremely light on his feet. I want to say there was a play to kick off his huddle tape where he catches a screen pass out the backfield from the quarterback and goes and scores. And anytime you can do that as an offensive lineman, that just shows kind of how athletic you are. He shows a good ability to lead block well out in space. Not afraid to deliver the first blow. And like I said, he moves people out their way really, really well. I mean, he's got a relentless motor and effort. So when looking at these guys that are coming in, you know, that you don't really have across the offensive line where you don't really have a lot of tape on them, I go back and watch some of their their high school huddle tapes, just kind of see what, the coaches that they committed to were seeing with them. I think if they're, the 3 with Brandon Rowan, and the other one that between those 2, I think Brandon's a little bit further along, with some of his technique. I think both of them need to be polished, and definitely pieces that can come in and give you some minutes here and there. But it'll be interesting to see how they develop. I think both of them are good pieces for the long haul. You know what I mean? I think both of them come in with 3 years of eligibility remaining, if I'm not mistaken. So, not a lot of experience, but a ton of potential between both of them. I liked Brandon's tape. I really, really did. He knows how to move. The dude's very, very light on his feet to be his size.
Like it. Trevor?
Not much to add. I didn't. Brandon was the last on my notes, and I was done at this point, so I didn't watch much of his film. But a lot of experience left for him. He did. I mean, he appeared in a bunch of games last year. He didn't really play that much on the offensive line for him, but it's going to be intriguing to see what he turns into for us.
Him playing special teams, I think, is a testament to my statement of him being light on his feet. Because, I mean, in order for you to play special teams, no matter what you're in, you got to be somewhat of an athlete. You never know what's going to pop off on special teams. You might have a busted snap, and anybody's got to pick the ball up. And at that moment, it's fair game. So he was extremely nimble, is what I remember on his tape.
I got one comment I want to highlight, and then one. Two really. One is a comment, and then the last one's for a question for JJ. If you want to go ahead and peek at that, so you can roll right into it. But a Tar Heel for Life showed up a little bit late tonight. I saw their comment earlier in the night, so appreciate you tapping in. But I thought this was funny when we were talking about NCAA. He said, I just had an 80 touchdown, 3 interception, All-American difficulty season with a freshman QB. My guy was cooking. I threw 3 interceptions against JMU. Still dog
Yeah,
walking though.
All American or Heisman, that they only throw 3 picks the whole year on All American. That's crazy. He was lighting it up.
My road to glory player set every South Carolina record there could be, and won the Heisman.
What's this mean? Coordinator yet? Do we
Coordinator.
have? Yeah, Bobby Petrino.
Belichick. Oh, is Bobby gonna?
Oh,
be
special teams. Sorry.
Coordinator.
Belichick.
I've heard Belichick
Yep.
probably.
Yep. All right, so let's get in here. All right, here's the question for JJ. Can JJ weigh in from his playing days? How much new scheme, constant D-ball threat will Petrino and a QB who get ball out quicker can help elevate an offensive line unit?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for the offensive line unit for them to be elevated is just the confidence they have. If you have a deep ball threat, you don't got to worry about having to be on the field as that often. I'm not very experienced in offensive line, but I know that they usually don't want to be on the field for as long as possible. So if they can score quick, it makes things a lot easier for them. And I know it's really split for offensive linemen whether they prefer pass pro or run game. But I know in pass pro, you have to stay in your spot a little bit longer. You really have to stiff up in your stance. But I guess when you throw the ball deep, sometimes you score. So I really can't answer that question. I don't know a lot about the offensive line. I just know that they want to score as much as possible and win the ball game.
And they like running it in the red zone. So getting an O lineman a touchdown if Bobby brings that'll be
absolutely
fun.
Put Big Shaq in there and let him go run.
Hey, I appreciate Kayla. This is going back to our episode from was it Thursday night? I talked about losing one of my Catfish Hunter cards when I was a kid. We were talking about baseball cards, JJ. I'm not
Hey,
caught up and watched the episode, but
it's
what you got, Troy?
It's funny that you brought this up because I saw this and I didn't know. Were you a big Catfish Hunter fan?
Yes and no. I became to know him because when I was a little kid, my uncle gave me his baseball card and I lost it somehow when I was in high school. I have no idea where it went.
So my dad, when
it was signed.
My dad, when he was a kid, went to a Durham Bulls game at the old Durham Bulls Park, and this is when Catfish Jim Hunter won the Cy Young Award for the I don't know what division. I'm not well versed in baseball by any means, but our buddy Andrew Forrest is. He was on the Diamond coming soon. Y'all stay tuned. He was on Franklin. Had to give a shout out real quick, but I've got a glove up here, man, that's signed by Jim Catfish Hunter. That was my dad's, and he got it at the Durham Bulls Park the year that he won the Cy Young. And it was one of the Golden Gloves back in the day or something like that, where it was player signed on the inside of it, and Jim Hunter signed it on the opposite side of where it was pressed into the on the inside of the glove. I thought that was pretty cool. I wanted to share that story with you.
Hey, I appreciate that, man. That's pretty cool that you were able to get that. That's next level.
Yeah, I'm sitting here looking at it right now. I mean, I could grab it and show it to you on screen, but I seen the Catfish Hunter conversation. I had to make a mental note to bring that up. So it's pretty cool. Caleb dropped that in the comments.
Appreciate you, Caleb. Hit us up or shoot me a message on Twitter. We'll get together. I think does JJ got something or is he just hiding?
Oh no, it looks like he might.
No, he just wanted to drop off stage for a second. I think he's doing something.
Oh, I got you.
He's grabbing something. Okay. He's in the private chat.
Yeah. Hey guys, I will say, we're at an hour and 30 with this thing. It's been awesome to break down these guys. I think we've got some real potential here with the portal additions that we're bringing in. We're talking about the portal process. We talked about the portal process the other night and kind of taking a broader view here with everybody that we've broke down. I told you guys and have been pretty vocal about Carolina needing to take a look in the mirror offensively and really, attack it with who they hired at OC and attack the needs across the board offensively with the transfer portal and with the guys that we got. I know not all of them are going to be home run hits, but if we can get some production out of them and get them to contribute, I think we've got some guys here that can really contribute for Carolina for at least a couple years. I know we've got a couple guys with 1 year of eligibility remaining, but for the most part, this is a class that has more than 1 year of eligibility, so we could see him in Carolina blue for 2-3 years. So I think I think there's a lot of potential with these guys, especially at the skill position, with the OC, with our new OC. And, you guys know how Bobby's mind works offensively. You need weapons, and, they saw, what they saw in these guys and were able to get them, and the guys that we were able to bring back across the offense too. I think it's going to be a revamped unit that's going to come out and try to make a name for itself. And I'm really excited to see what this 2026 offense looks like. Hey, and matter of fact, I saw online, I don't know if you guys knew this. If you did, disregard, but Christo Kelly is coming back for Carolina. So he'll be back with us next year. And that'll be great for all.
That's a big piece.
Yeah, that'll be great for our offensive line, especially at the center position. That pretty much locks up that. So
for sure. Peeking at the comments, I see some comments around Newkirk and Burgess. We're definitely going to touch on them later when we get to our position groups breakdown. Caleb tried to throw a jab in here at JJ while we were wondering where he went. He said he's about to close the stream. So I'm glad we strayed away from that. But JJ, you got anything left?
JJ, I'd love to see that.
That is so crazy. You know what's funny? I have been looking at this end stream button like it's dying about. I don't even move my mouse toward it anymore.
Hey, show us what you got. You got them beside you?
Hey, JJ's been
later.
Yeah.
JJ's been playing with fire, bouncing on and off screen. Go ahead, show us what you got, bro. My bad.
Nah, because I know y'all talked about earlier if I got anything for Christmas. Shout out to my girlfriend. Hey, Peyton, I know you're watching right now. And 423 Customs. They made me some custom cleats.
Oh.
So it has keep swinging on there. Got this. It's got the UNC emblem on there. Tylee Strong on the back.
That's tough.
Fresh.
Got his logo on there as well.
What are
on the
Nikes?
scene? Yeah, these are just the Nike Vapor Speed. These are the cleats I use just regardless. So
yeah, you like those?
That's awesome.
Hell yeah, that's what I use. Inside it says F Cancer. It's got his birthday and his death date on there, but just want to show y'all, man.
That's awesome.
I know this season's been dedicated to Tylee, man. So it's really cool, and I'm glad y'all doing that, and I appreciate y'all because
yes, sir.
Y'all don't have to do that, man. And just for the fact that y'all do that shows what UNC's about and our fan base and for y'all, man. So again, I appreciate y'all. I just want to show y'all real quick. I know we talking about Christmas.
Can you use those in Edmonton, or do you got to use like certain cleats?
I ain't never going. I'll probably.
You might have to break those out for the warm-up line.
Yeah. Warm-up line, and then put them
up.
You know it. Come on,
I got you, bro. You can't keep those in the box, bro.
When we go to Canada and watch you play, you have to wear them for the warm-up line when we come out there.
We'll take the flick, and then we'll put them back up. Because now you can't crease them.
Nah, of course not. That's why I keep them in the box. They ain't coming out the box. I'll wear them in warm-ups and then put my regular cleats on. But
those are
you could get. You said you keep them in the box, but you could get those things offline where they like there's the shoe and cleat box that you can put them in, and you could put it on your shelf behind you as part of your podcast setup.
Yeah, no, for sure. Because you can see my podcasting setup is so beautiful right now.
Hey, better than mine.
I see you got that WVU catch up there. I see that
WVU. I think this is from my sophomore year or something. And asked me dunking on Brad Duke. So
the WVU. Oh yeah, catch right to my West Virginia. Yeah, I get so tripped out every time I see your email. I think I'm emailing your dad.
That's what I always think too.
Remember when we first started working with him on the show? We were like, did he give us his dad's? Does he not even have his own personal email?
Bro's got his dad handling his email.
Come on. Born in West Virginia, grew up West Virginia fan. I know everything West Virginia. So I'm glad we got the offensive lineman coming from West Virginia. I know it's tough as nails to be an offensive lineman up there. So
especially for Rich Rod.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No TikToks. You can't TikTok dance on his team.
JJ, I just want to say, from us as well, man, we appreciate you being on the show. It means a lot to us, and we got a lot of awesome stuff, planned, and we appreciate you sharing that with us. That moment, those cleats. I saw that on your Instagram story when Peyton got you those, and she's a baller too.
Yeah,
she's a baller. Yes. She healthy now?
She got hurt. She got hurt. She just broke her toe in a freak accident. I don't know, man. It just seems like me and her have so many injuries, but you know what? She's a hooper though. She's a baller.
Yeah. And well, that might be too much to share online. It's up to you.
Oh, no, she plays it. I mean, she's famous on TikTok. So
I
it's cool.
know.
Yeah. Nah,
I
she plays
know.
Anderson University up in Greenville, so not too far.
Oh yeah,
Dude, she's like super TikTok famous. How many followers she have? It's like over 100 or something.
Over all her socials, probably like 800,000, damn near a million.
Oh,
she got
That's
any
a career right there.
She got any good influence and deals?
Huh? Yeah, she's done like dating apps, and so I have to act like we don't date in the dating apps, and that we met online. But we literally met online, so that's like kind of her way to get these dating apps to apply for.
Yeah,
that's funny. She's an energy drink too, right?
Yeah, Celsius.
All right.
That's pretty good.
That's big time.
They're pretty tapped in with college athletes.
Mm-hmm. She gonna have to cut you a little bit of side cash for mentioning that she's partnering with Celsius.
Oh yeah, nah, for sure. I better get paid for that. I know she was.
You better. All right, we got any comments before we close it out? Damn, JJ, lock it up for good. Oh, I should probably read these comments before I just read.
She going big time. Hey, yeah, I got a comment real quick, Chris. Man, you led the show off with the new home of the Tar Pit. You know, transition over with Hills on Franklin, and I just want to say, man, as a founder of the Tar Pit, I'm really excited for that. You and Trevor sat down with the vision for the Tar Pit, but you were the first one to introduce Hills on Franklin and the idea of it to him and I, and we were on board with it. And throughout the working with the Tar Pit, we've gotten a chance to know each other more and to really see each other's talents and what we all bring to the table. And we put out a great product with this. And I know that Hills on Franklin, man, is going to take over the Carolina space. We put our heart and a lot of effort into this, and we're bringing that same mentality over with Hills on Franklin, covering other Carolina sports. So I just want to reiterate to the fact that changes nothing with the Tar Pit. If anything, it makes it that much better. And stay tuned for more Carolina content, because it's coming in waves you can't imagine with Hills on Franklin. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I appreciate you plugging that, Troy, in those comments. You know, we're actually recording our first episode this coming week for Hills on the Diamond to cover Carolina baseball. We are going to start working our way into men's basketball, women's basketball, but we're going to do it slowly. We have to make sure we find the right hosts to be able to do that. Like I shared last stream, we just don't want to give you the box score stats or the game stats. We want to be able to, like we pride ourselves here at the Tar Pit Podcast, breaking down film, all 22 film, you know, giving our thoughts about, you know, how this scheme worked, or, you know, cover 2, cover 3. That's why we, you know, that's why we like having JJ on, also with Bryn and even Shaq, you know, former linebacker at Carolina, potentially one of the best to ever play. What was funny? Did I say something funny?
No, Caleb said I'm gonna have to get this Tar Pit Podcast tattoo covered now. No, I'll keep it, bro, because Tar Pit's still the same. We're just under Hills on Franklin. So
yep.
ain't nothing changing with the Tar Pit, brother.
Nope.
Logo's still the same. It's just you'll catch all of our content there under the Hills on Franklin umbrella.
Yep. So like how that's going to work is we'll have all this different series right under Hills on Franklin. So it'll be.
Sorry, my bad. Bad. Keep going.
Brother got Tar Pit on the stamp right there.
I'm lost. What's happening?
We're reading the comments. I'm muting my mic. Go ahead.
All right. So kind of like how it's going to work, or how it is going to work, is that Hills on Franklin, and then you have the different series under that, right? Hills on Franklin is just the umbrella. It's the network of all of our Carolina sport podcasts that we're going to have on the same network. Not only will this start letting us tap into different sports, but it strategically places us in a better place for the future when it comes to hopefully sponsorships, so we can provide, you know, when those sponsorships do take place, we can provide better, you know, content. So you guys got anything?
Chris,
y'all in the private chat.
Chris has put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into the Tar Pit YouTube page, And what we have collectively decided to do is take the tar pit and the analytics that are associated with tar pit and transition it to Hills on Franklin. So everything is going to be the same. You're going to be able to find all of our content on the same platform. It's just going to be Hills on Franklin. And it's a heck of an idea. And Chris is a dedicated, I call him the wizard for a reason. So I'm happy to be doing it with a creative mind. Trev, you already know what you bring to the table. JJ, you and Bren, man, you guys bring it every time we have you guys on. So looking forward to having you guys on in the future. Yep. Hey, and I'm excited about Andrew's podcast, man. I really, really am. I've showed him some love on Twitter. Andrew, if you're watching, I'm keeping receipts, big dog. I've showed you some love. I need some love back. But I'm excited for Andrew's podcast, for his show, man. He's been on with us in the Tar Pit before. He's got a great sports mind. I see him active on Twitter a lot, just debating, throwing things out for food for thought, stuff like that, for people to soak up and absorb and think on. And I know he's going to do well with that, with Hills on the Diamond.
All good stuff. Well, look, let's get out of here. Look, if you're going to be at the Carolina basketball game tomorrow night, not the women's, they're going to be in Raleigh, but all four of us are going to be there. Be sure to send us a message. We'd love to meet up and get a dab. We'll be at People's prior to that, getting some food before the game. So if you're going to be there, let us know. We'd like to meet up with you, hang out a little bit. But look, guys, it's been good. Look, we're almost an hour and 45 minutes. I know we kind of had like a 20-minute of a Josh up time, so we won't count that really, though. Right. So, look, appreciate you all tapping in with us tonight. We got a lot more stuff coming down the pipeline. We'll let you know when we're going to be back on for part 3, when we start dipping into the defensive side for the portal additions, but we haven't decided on that time yet. We'll let you guys for sure know. So until next time, go Heels.
Go Heels.
Go Heels.
Go Heels.
Hey Tar Pit crew, thanks for hanging with us today. Quick shout out. Today's episode is powered by Untapped Sports Network. Big thanks to them for the support. If you like this episode, do us a favor. Like it, drop a comment, and share it with a friend. That kind of support goes a long way in keeping the podcast rolling. Make sure you're subscribed and following the Tar Pit podcast on whatever platform you're listening on right now. And don't forget to follow us on social. We're on X, formerly Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Just search the Tar Pit podcast and you'll find us. Until next time, go Heels.